It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours. It costs that much cause I don't have superpowers. So you need to pay for my skills cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours. You need to pay for my skills cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours.
Shut up, bitch!
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
James Woods can say is, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When a Bowen turned into a vampire, all James Woods could say was, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When he became Peter's best friend, they sat around the house and said, piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. And you know that James Woods practices lingerie well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When they know that he's nectar, the best of them always says, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. Reese's Pieces on the floor and watch him come a saying, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. And you know that James Woods practices lingerie well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Oh! Ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. Piece of candy.
Fucking thing sucks!
Salutations, one and all. It is a Monday night here around these parts. I'm your Uncle Warren, and I may have had a little bit too much herbage. The neighbor said, happy early birthday here, have some brownies. And I said, okay. And I said, oh shit, I gotta do a show, and Franco's coming on. Franco's gonna be like, what the fuck, dude? Anyway, so we're gonna bring him in here in just a second. Doesn't exist. Hello, you are a new name, or you may be an existing customer. So either way, welcome. Call 1-800-RICKY Berwick's mom. Hello, interesting name. John Kemper, I know you, brother. Good to see you. Game.film, Shake and Bacon. Oh, Miss Jimmy, good to see you. They're just starting to roll in. Speaking of rolling in, let's go ahead and bring in Franco, our esteemed guest this evening on this journey into the random and into God knows what. Hello, sir. How are you?
Well, how's it going, Warren? It's great to be on here. You're the first show I've gone on in like months. It's great to be on. Birthday just passed. So yeah, Capricorn gang. I know your birthday's coming up, so yeah,
that's
it's
right.
great to be here, buddy.
Yes, happy belated birthday to you, sir.
Thank you. Happy early birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, mine's gonna be Sunday, but my neighbor said they felt that me not having any pot in the house was some sort of sacrilege to their religion. I don't question religion, so they gave me some pot brownies, and I said, all right. So I had one earlier today thinking, all right, I'll be nice and bouncy and happy for the show, and then I got on there on here like literally right before we went on. I was like, uh-oh. We're gonna see how this goes anyway, but the Capricorn's gonna ride it out tonight. And I guess the main reason I wanted to have you on is I hadn't seen you in a while. You know, I miss you.
Okay,
and you know, we just want to check in with you. How's it going? What's going on with you?
Yeah, just taking care of some personal stuff, and then I'll be back, and I'll be making more videos more consistently later on, hopefully. But I'm just treating this more as a hobby now. Before, I guess I thought it would be possible for me to do it full time, but with all the censorship and there's a big strain that was put on me with a lot of the stuff I was doing, the people you meet, and I'm sure you've come across that, Warren, right? With the stuff that doesn't get talked about a lot in alt media channels, independent media channels, it's like the conflicts that can happen like behind the scenes. Sometimes it can happen on the scenes, but yeah. There's still a lot that happens like behind the scenes, in addition to stuff that goes on in our personal lives. So I just needed to take some time off and like reframe my focus. And I also talked about on one of my last videos about the new direction I want to take my channel, is focus it more on spirituality and psychology. But also I can't make videos because I got suspended for a week, and then after that suspension I got suspended for another 2 weeks. So that's the second strike, and then I'm pretty sure after the 2 weeks is done they're gonna strike me for another video, because they strike me down for a video I had made like 2 years ago, and it was on the election stuff. It was on January 6th.
I've been noticing a trend like that too, because Jimmy was telling me that's what happened to them right last week. I think it was on Friday or Thursday or Friday last week. Right, they were supposed to be doing a marathon stream with some other channels like Savvy Sabs and Hardlands Media and Chicago Corner, and they got hit with this 2-year-old video. Same thing, 2 years old. It's like they're reaching way back, and I don't think this is just like some random robot thing. This is, I think certain people are starting to piss certain other people off to a point where they're trying to mess with you and I guess break up the flow. I guess try to keep you from streaming on YouTube as much as possible. But you have other outlets too, right? You have other places you can stream though, right?
Yeah, and I see people in the chat bringing up my backup channel. Yeah, I'm gonna use that. Like I should have mentioned that when I brought up like how my channel might get taken down. I'm pretty sure it will. Like 2 strikes in a row like that for videos from a long time ago. Like as soon as I get off the 1 week suspension, they strike me with something else. I'm pretty sure they're gonna strike me again after my 2 weeks is up. So I have the backup channel. It's called Franc Analysis Backup. I'm still on Rockfin. I'm on Odyssey, but I don't really stream on there because Odyssey is like a complicated beast to handle. But I'm thinking about making a Rumble channel. But regardless, like if I move on to the backup channel or not, I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna do like the most consistent I'll do is like once a week. Like I won't be as consistent as before where I was making so many videos throughout the week, so many interviews throughout the week. Sometimes, like I don't know if you feel the same way about this, Warren, but sometimes I feel like a lot of the content that gets covered in independent / alt media becomes redundant. It's just like everyone's covering the same thing. Do you think that?
Cyclical, yeah. It runs. We used to see that when I worked in local television too. You get a story that just kind of run the gamut, like 3 or 4 TV stations would run it, and they put their own various little touch on it to make it seem like it was different. But yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of. It always kind of ebbs and flows with the character assassinations of people to going after some podcaster or something like that, and it just kind of takes I was about to. I'm like giving you a softball here because I know you have no love lost for like a lot of these personalities that are in here that aren't. They're just doing it for the personality's sake, to build oneself up, not necessarily to do something greater than what they're doing. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's something I also talked about in one of my last videos. Like some of the things that I'm like tired of in alt media. It's like the conflicts that people have with each other and making videos about it, and they know that that's going to give them views, and a lot of these people do it full time, or so it's like about survival. Like they know that if they have like a conflict with someone, like, oh, I'm going to get some money here, I'm going to make some videos about it, and it also boosts their ego. Like they're talking about how one person's wrong and they're right, and they like to hear confirmation bias from their audience members, and it just becomes a bad cycle. That's a result of a lot of these content creators are just really unaware of themselves. It's a lack of spirituality that they have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like. Independent news, just just your basic news that the mainstream media is not covering. Even like some of these boutique leftists that we were calling them, the ones who were calling us the dumb left, those people. Yeah. You still have to get these stories out to people. Even though, like a lot of the channels that are putting them, there's a lot of small channels putting things out like that. Do you think it would probably behoove a lot of these smaller channels to just kind of band together like a lot of other channels have done and maybe form some sort of a network of to better their communication? Or what do you think about that?
Yeah, like forming networks is good. But it's important to remember to not have it be like an echo chamber. Just be respectful of other people's differences in the way that they're seeing what's happening out there in the world, instead of being like arrogant about, oh, like I'm right on this issue because I know the stuff like really well. Just look at what the facts say. Don't just assume that you're right just because you traveled somewhere for a bit. Be open to the idea that you might be wrong on something. But I mean, for people who want to, like, for the small content creators out there, people who don't have a channel and want to start one, you can't make a living off of this unless you become a grifter and you sell out and you get some. You're not affecting YouTube status quo in any way, and you're just like a drama channel, then you could probably make a living off of it later on. I don't think that you're gonna have any peace of mind though. Like, you're constantly gonna be thinking about, oh, like, what's the next video I gotta pump out? Oh, this person's like attacking me. Like, you're constantly dealing with like your ego being threatened at that point. So just treat it as a hobby. Do it as a service. Like, do it because you want to actually inform people, not because you want to be a personality on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's
or like for fun. Like, I know you do it for fun, Warren. And there's others out there that do this all for fun.
Well, yeah, I kind of like to season it to my flavor, right? So that way I don't mind, I don't get burnt out doing this kind of stuff, right? So the sneaky thing I do is, like, I'm just a dude. I bring on the smart people. That's the thing. It's like I'm like the conduit, right? And you have to have and just like anything else, you have to have the right conduit to attract people to your message and stuff like that. You have to be able to, because you could say a whole bunch of stuff that makes a lot of sense, but a lot of it will just shoot right over their heads or something like that. And so there's only like certain kinds of people who will get the message that you're putting out, unless you put but that's why you have all these other groups too, that they're doing it their way. Like, younger people are doing it their way and older people are doing it their way. As long as we're all communicating, that's all I care about. And because if the communication is not on point, like you said, if we're just stuck in the echo chambers, we're not going to get anywhere. We have to break out of there and talk to people in our uncomfortable zones,
Yeah.
So, but that's why you have big mouths like me. I can go in any zone and talk. I don't care. I just like to talk. So, but so use the powers for good and hopefully not evil. But I guess the last time he was on here, this was when. This was when AOC was at the Capitol with Cori Bush, and that was your famous you and Colin had your famous run-in with those two, and let's turn on some music. That's been about, was that that was a year, right?
That was 2021. That was a year
so 2
and a
years
half ago.
Yes, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. That's right, 2 years. I keep forgetting.
Year and a half, because it was July, so it was like. Yeah. Like,
that's right. Yeah.
But
yeah. So
then
I keep forgetting.
Yeah, you can go ahead and play that if you want.
No, that's fine.
You were just saying that's the last time I came on the show.
I think. It was late because we were talking about that. We did have that video, and of you just like basically not chasing after her, but chasing after her with words with AOC, and she just like. Psh,
I think these people still need to be confronted, and just to show the hypocrisy there for the people who are still not aware about how these people are just selfish actors.
Well, okay, so now after all the stuff that the who is it, was it the Freedom Caucus? Is that who is this? These 20 GOP Congress people, they held up the voting for the Speaker of the House. Now I know you and I are pretty much on the same page. It's just like electoral politics is pretty much kind of a moot point. I think a lot of this stuff was all kind of window dressing and anything, but I mean, just if you're just talking about just like the bare mechanics of a strategy for something, Right. Do you think like the GOP did these 20 GOP did a good job of getting what they wanted? Not saying what they got was good, but using their tactics. Do you think they got what they wanted?
Yeah, they did get what they wanted, what they selfishly wanted, and it's also what it also doesn't affect their owners, like the people that are paying them, the lobbyists. Like the reason why the squad aren't doing that is because the lobbyists aren't allowing them to do that. If the GOP does that, it doesn't affect the lobbyists in the negative way, right? The things that they do are gonna favor them. So I mean that's why they're allowed to do it. And with forced to vote, like even if they did get together and like pass like a law that was like Medicare for all, they'll trick people into thinking that they're passing Medicare for all bill when it's gonna be like watered down. It's gonna have stuff there that's gonna benefit the lobbyists at the end of the day. They're the ones that write the legislation, right?
Yeah. How can we? So now, like, here we are in 2023, and from what I mean, ever since I've met cats like you and others who have been espousing that, like, we're not going to get anything done electorally. We're going to have to do it with direct actions and mutual aid and that sort of thing. It's outside of the system. I've kind of noticed over the last couple of years, a little more and a little more and a little more people are starting to come around to that notion too. I mean, do you think 2023 is going to be any different? Do you think there's going to be more people coming around to that, to where we have to do stuff outside the system, maybe create even a brand new system?
Yeah, I think every year people are starting to realize that. People start to see the hypocrisy in these politicians. They're seeing that with Biden. I mean, people were afraid to vote for Donald Trump, and that's why they voted for Biden. And they're seeing that things aren't getting any better. They weren't even happy with voting for him. Like the average person that voted for him probably wasn't even happy to vote for him. And they're just seeing that things aren't changing. So I think eventually people are going to just realize that they need to do something more than just vote. Especially when things start getting worse for them financially. Like the cost of living is going up. The cost of groceries and all this other stuff, like that's getting worse and worse. The way that millennials and Gen Z have it right now with their college debt and everything, they're gonna reach a point and be like, do you remember how our parents were living when they were our age and our grandparents? Yeah, this is not normal. And they're gonna have to inform themselves and see like why things are the way that they are. But seeing with how cultish like some of the people who are aware of what's going on are, like people who watch independent media, a lot of them are cultish. I think it's still gonna take a while, and it's also gonna depend on the rate of censorship too. Like what kind of operations is the government gonna do to give excuses for more censorship, and how many and are people gonna like buy it and allow it to happen? YouTube's going to shit now. Sorry, I don't even know if I can say that with the new rules that they just came up with, saying you can't even curse on YouTube or else your video gets taken down. But I don't know. I didn't even look at it. What did the rules say exactly about cursing? Like, will your video get taken down, or does it get demonetized now?
From what I saw, it said demonetized. So, like, you know, the same like unspoken rule of like the first 10 or 20 seconds. You know, you want to keep away from using potty mouth there. But yeah, they all they mentioned was demonetization. Which sucks, because I mean, and because they're talking about throughout the whole video too. So if you're not using, like, I think you can use damn and ass, maybe the old if it's in the Bible rule then it's cool, you know, kind of thing. But yeah, so they're trying to make it harder and harder because they know people who are using real talk a lot of times probably going to be cursing too. So that's just another way for them to get around it.
That's so ridiculous.
It is.
Like, they have age restrictions on videos already.
Yeah.
But you also do you also see how it's going to be like a war on us calling out like these like events that will occur for trying to manufacture consent for more censorship and the people trying to inform other people? Like, can you see that happening?
Yeah, they just keep screwing it down. They keep screwing it down and seeing how much people take. You know, they put a little bit more on there, and then people are like, okay, and then they do a little more and a little more, and it's like you said, it's going to get to the point where people are not going to be able to get out of that oppression that easily, and it's going to take years to get out of it. You know, because that's where they want us, in that controllable way. So, you know, I'm worried about that stuff too. I'm worried about more of that kind of stuff happening too. You know, what's going to happen with, you know, Ukraine and Russia. You know, how are they going to twist that some more? You know, more money's going to go there. That's like the easiest thing to predict there. I mean, do you think that that war is going to get hotter? I mean, what do you think is going to happen with that?
Yeah, and then YouTube's going to do their thing where they put like Ukraine flags and all over their logo, like what Google did too, to try to like manufacture more people's consent. But I think that the average person is like thinking that this is all BS. Like, I don't want like our money to be going to like these wars that I barely know anything about. The main people that we see like protesting in DC for Ukraine are like just like shit libs, or it might be like people who are paid to do that. What else was I gonna say about that? There was something else I was gonna say about the Russia-Ukraine thing, but people, I think the average person is also not even turning to YouTube anymore to like inform themselves about that. Like they're looking up articles outside, you know, outside of all that. Do you think that people are using YouTube and like Twitter less and less now too? Like I've seen it from like my personal experience, like when I go out and talk to friends or I meet new people and I start talking about events that are happening in the world. They don't even know that like independent media exists, but they still like come across like other articles and stuff. They read a variety of different articles and then they just like make up their mind on their own on what they think is happening out there.
Yeah, I mean that's why you know, people like INN who are like always trying to distribute articles and stuff by people, you know, like you know, like the usual suspects, like I don't know, I'm a little high right now, but you know what I'm talking about. And don't get the main. They're not going to be on. They're not going to be on mainstream media, right? You know, your Caitlin Johnstones, those kind of people who, you know, whether you agree with them or not, at least they are actually out and about in these places reporting. Whereas
they're offering a different perspective.
Yeah, I mean, you're not really getting a lot of on-the-ground stuff, and the on-the-ground stuff you are kind of coming from nefarious sources from as far as how the mainstream media is reporting this kind of stuff. So, you know, but to disseminate, to distribute that information, to get them out to the masses, you know, that's another thing too. I know you usually have a lot of good journalists on when you're doing your shows, that I've noticed too. That's one of the reasons why I appreciate the work that you're doing, because not only the stuff that you do yourself. Oh, blush! I know, right? But you know, it's, you gotta get your accolades, right? I mean, that's what I see a lot of people in this space that are just kind of like, you know, down and out. And it's like they don't feel like that people appreciate what they're doing. Hell yeah, we do. You know, it's just a lot of times we're not heard. That kind of thing. So, salute, as it were.
Or the opportunity doesn't come up. Salute.
or life's got you pinned down doing other stuff so you can actually eat, pay the rent and stuff like that. It's just, that's what this independent space is about. A lot of people doing a lot of different things just to do it. So,
Yeah, and I do gotta say, I'm still like appreciative of the people that have inspired me, like to do this, and I'm thankful. I'm still like in good terms with them, like Nico House, for example. I know he's going through a lot right now too, and he's trying to refocus and everything, and like I respect that. And like I was telling him too, like stuff I'm going through today, man, I can relate too. Like if anything, I'm the one that might understand the most. But yeah, like he was someone that like really inspired me. Like he was like going on the ground. He was questioning what a lot of people were saying, and I'll say it shouldn't just stop there at mainstream media. Like we still gotta question everything that we read. Mainstream media is the main thing we should question about is like, oh, like there's conflict of interest, look at who's paying them. But people who like still aren't getting paid by corporations, they still might get something wrong. They might have personal biases and things, and it's okay. Just don't let yourself become a sycophant or like a hardcore fan of like specific journalists or commentators. Otherwise you're going to be wrong on things that are happening in the world, and the whole goal of this is to be aware of what's actually happening out there about the truth. So I just want to give that advice to everybody. Just always question things. It's okay if a journalist that you like can got something wrong.
You don't have to ban them to the ban them to the island out there. It's like, but they should be able to be called out on stuff if they are wrong. Exactly. And I think that's what a lot of people are afraid to do in this space now. They found it's the same cycle that happened before in 2016. People were finding their comfort zones with certain commentators and whatnot. And and then at the time, a lot of those commentators kind of took them, took them down a wrong path, whether inadvertently or not, and you're starting to see that too, where people are just starting to worry more about, how many clicks and stuff their thing is getting instead of the actual, content that they're putting out. Are they actually providing something that's not readily available somewhere else, and that's hard to do, since you have so many places and people in this space that have the ability to do that. It's just not a lot of them do it. So,
people also find comfort in like the fan base that some of the journalists or commentators have, and then it clouds their judgment. Like they become biased. And they don't realize it. They think that what their tribe is saying is always going to be right.
Yeah, and that happens like not just like in what they like, media wise. It's just like anything. Like they settle into these little cliques, and the cliques are what keep them comfy. It's when you adventure outside of these cliques and you start meeting people that you're not used to being around and that sort of thing, you may find out that you have more in common than what the propaganda was telling you, but you're not going to know till you actually bust out and actually talk to people.
That's why 2020 to 2021 was an interesting year, because that's when a lot of people were staying home. They were meeting people online, and then they were finding like a little group online that they considered like their hangout group, or they found comfort in that, going to battles with these people on these Twitter fights or YouTube comment sections, and then like rallying behind like certain groups of online personalities, but like I think 2022 2023 a lot of people are stepping more away from just this like religious consistent watching of independent media. They're actually getting out and talking to other people. they're not only just dependent on getting their news from these commentators, and instead, you know, they're looking at things on their own and making their own judgments. But yeah, you got to step away from that. You let go of that, and that's how your biases start to, you know, just they disappear more. Or the best thing that can happen is that they disappear into awareness. You become aware of your biases, and you become aware of, like, okay, yeah, I might have been wrong there. The most important thing is to look at all the facts, and, you know, don't just, like, some people make the mistake of filling in some of the gaps that are there with things that they just make up because they want the thing that they want to be true to be the thing that's true. And so they fill in the missing pieces with what they want, instead of just accepting that they don't know and waiting for more information to appear.
Yeah, some people, they got to have that closure, you know, and it's like, you know what,
Yeah.
sometimes you're not going to get that closure. You know, it'd be nice if we did, but, you know, a lot of times you have to accept the fact that if you don't get closure on something, you can't just let that drive you crazy. And it will. I mean, and then you've seen people just, like, go to certain lengths, just certain depths and lengths to try and solve something, and it just makes them crazy, you know. So
Yeah.
and not good time crazy either. Just like, you know,
And also these elites and you know the leaders of the world, they take advantage of that human psychology of rallying behind certain personalities that may say some certain things that are true, or say some things that resonate with people, and so they push out people like Andrew Tate on the algorithm, or, you know, all these other online personalities, and then it just becomes a big distraction in this culture war. And then, you know, they miss the mark. They could have been on the right path to seeing what the truth is about some things, but then they miss their mark when they get steered off by some of these online personalities that the media pushes out, the algorithm pushes out.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm pretty sure that these distractions are on purpose too, just to keep us all off track like that, and it works, unfortunately, but I don't know. We need something that counteracts these distractions like this. I mean, how can we do that though without, you know, hurling giant meteors at the earth? You know, and even then, people will be like, I don't believe that. You know.
What do you think is the best thing we should do? Like, when we see a whole bunch of people getting distracted and, like, calling out, like, Andrew Tate, or calling out all these other people, should we just, like, ignore it? Should we just say, hey, that's a distraction? Just point that out to everybody. That's a distraction.
I mean, we could, but we'd be saying that a
why.
lot. We would be saying that a lot. You know, because there are so many distractions. There has to be that many distractions to get people divided like that. That's the thing. It's like, you know, first off, it would take a lot of us to go around and tell these people, yes, this is a distraction. You were being distracted. Please stop looking at the shiny object. Come look over here. You know, that kind of thing. It would take a lot of us to do that. That's why I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Like the people in our space, the numbers grow, you know.
And it's gonna take a long time, because I think that it becomes easier to point out these things with the more years of experience you have of informing yourself, and then people who are really into it, you can just, like, send them all this information of that they're not seeing, to break them out of that. Like, people that are, like, big Elon Musk cultists, or thinking that Teslas are amazing, and that they're going to get a tax break. I don't really care about Elon Musk, but I want that tax break with these Teslas. If you tell them that Teslas are still bad for the environment, and that they still rely on fossil fuels and all this stuff, they'll be like, there's no way. Like, that might be their initial response. But if you send them, like, information that you've accumulated over the years, because you're informing yourself about all these different things that are happening in the world, there's a chance you can change their mind by doing that. And
Yeah.
I mean that's part of the process of elevating everyone's awareness, everyone's consciousness.
And you got to come from a place of sincerity too, because I mean, if they think, if you're coming from some place where it looks like, you're a billionaire or something like that, nobody's going to pay attention to you. They're gonna automatically know that you have some sort of agenda, right? But if you come from some sincere background, maybe you're just like a simple farmer or something like that, or just whoever. And you come forward and you say, look, we need to do A, B, and C, and they don't have this background of being some sort of manipulative person or being in a group that tries to manipulate you, that sort of thing. That's going to be hard too, to find those people that aren't on the take, as it were, with these folks. And that's why I find it hard for voting and stuff like that. How do you get these people in that aren't going to be getting taken as soon as they get sworn in,
Yeah. It's gonna be a long road. It's gonna be bumpy. But the solutions I had just recently, were completely wrong. Like when I first started doing this channel, I thought that the solution was to vote for Bernie and to vote for Tulsi, and then that would be like the best thing that could happen, and then to just like inform people about U.S. imperialism, and then that was it. But no, like I was open. Like the more I informed myself, the more I realized that that's not like the best solution, and I thought that like I would just like vaguely say like, oh, we should like opt out and grow our own food and blah blah blah. I was like, all right, but how are you going to do that? Or how are these people in the city going to do that? Then I had to inform myself about that. What's the best way for people who live in the city to do that? And then I would tell people, at the very least, you can at least get the idea rolling with people around you. Start talking to people about, hey, I mean, if we all started growing our own food, having community gardens and all that, that would be healthier for us. It's an investment on yourself. Like you don't have to be paying for all these like health problems that you're gonna get later on. It's just learning how to talk to people about that and all that.
Yeah, definitely, and more people speaking up too. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a show or anything like that. Just speak up, speak your mind. If you've got ideas, please bring them forward.
And then it'll grow exponentially like that. Like your ideas that you give to someone else, and they're gonna pass it on to somebody else. And yeah, that's how in the past people have become more aware about things, and our moralities have evolved. Morality has changed over time.
Yeah, some of it not for not so much for the good. I just feel like the overall culture of the world, not necessarily everybody, but as an overall concept, humanity has just grown so much more greedy, right? They're so more concerned about their own needs, and they're not thinking in these societal terms. Like some of these people will come together and say, we're going to start a little commune out here in the mountains. We're going to grow our own food. We're going to make our own tools. We're going to do all that kind of stuff. We're going to be kind of almost completely cut off from society to see how that kind of thing works. And I think in small groups you're going to see a lot of success where you have like like communism and that sort of thing, whereas there's not a whole lot of resources to share, but then there's not a whole lot of resources to share with people, so there's less chance of some sort of bureaucracy in the implementing of food distribution and that sort of thing on a small scale. It's once you get into like the millions of people and stuff like that, that's where like communism kind of tends to get a little bit on the crazy side to
Gets
deal
a little
with.
funky.
So. I don't know. I mean, what are your ideas? Yeah, it's like it's although I've been growing up with the communist propaganda my whole life, I really never got down to the brass tacks of to what like communism was like. Have you ever just like taken a look at it and just seeing like what are your overall thoughts on like communism in general?
It wants like a classless society, and then anarchy. I don't want to say anything that's wrong, so I'm just gonna like have people.
Yeah,
on
don't
and
say
I'm
nothing
asking
wrong.
Questions like Keith McHenry, right? Like I want to bring him on the show and talk about that, and I'll ask him questions because I don't want to say something and then it's like that's not what anarchy is, or I say something else and they're like, oh, that's not what communism is. But
I hear you.
Like my ideal society, it would be like, it would have to be like many years down the line when everybody's self-awareness has grown so much where they can just like respect each other. People just do whatever they want. The food is free because we're growing the right kind of food that's sustainable. Different communities have different foods. Different regions have different foods. We eat different foods seasonally. It's bringing back some of the things that our ancestors used to do that worked, but we stopped doing them because of corruption from people who were greedy, who were leaders that wanted to take advantage of people and exploit, and started using unsustainable resources. So people, it would be a society where people are just mainly focusing on themselves growing spiritually and reading more, discovering more things that we don't understand. So people can still do like scientific studies, and then going beyond that, maybe our technology has advanced so much that we can even understand more of these multivariate things. Because right now a lot of science is limited because you have to consider so many variables. Like when it comes to people's personality, you have to consider so many different variables. Everything in their genetics, which already is like a bunch of variables right there. How those variables in your genetics interact with the environment. There's a whole bunch of variables there. Things that happen throughout the years that can affect your personality. Astrology might have something to do with it. Like the way that stars pull on our molecules. That has to have some effect on the way that our genes get expressed. And then seeing like what's the ideal person for you based on your personality, based on your experiences. What are your weaknesses based on that? So I mean that we just have all this time to focus on ourselves, so that we can be healthy individuals.
We can
start doing some of that now. It's just that therapy is so expensive. People don't know where to start. So
and why is it expensive? That's the thing. It's like that.
Yeah, they don't want us to grow. They don't want us to grow psychologically or spiritually.
Right. It just seems like the whole during the during the pandemic, that was the thing too. It was like there was an opportunity there to grow, but you didn't really quite see it that much in the way that you really wanted to see it, that sort of thing, because people were so scared, so the fear was driving them to do certain things, and it was just kind of sad in that respect. But
yeah,
are
you noticing more people like wanting to practice meditation or other spiritual practices?
Yeah.
But then some of those people aren't politically aware enough. Like there's like people who are still like Democrats that do like, I don't know, meditation or all these breathing exercises or psychedelics, but so you don't inform themselves politically, they're still lost on some things.
You know what's funny? It's like I'm starting to see older people, like people my age and up, that are starting to get more into that stuff. Like I hear friends about all the time. It's like, yeah, I'm getting into yoga. And I, you know, 20, 30 years ago, they would never even consider that kind of stuff. But they're getting into it because it's like, they got questions too. They question,
Yeah.
you know, what's going on in reality as it is, you know, because, you know, you always hear that thing like, you know, you're getting red pilled, this is the Matrix, you know, we're living in the Star Trek mirror universe. You hear about all these kind of different things, but, you know, I think a lot of these people are like, look, I don't think this is reality. I think this is something else. I want to get kind of in touch with the out there, and you're starting to see a lot more people do that.
Yeah, it brings peace to yourself, and then it brings peace to like how you interact with people around you.
I'd love to do that. Do you do that? Do you meditate?
Yeah, I meditate every day. Because I stopped at one point. I was doing it every day like a couple years back, and then when I had stopped, there are some things that were bothering me, that used to bother me, that started bothering me again, like some personal things. And then like when I started meditating again, like I just was able to bring myself back to stillness. I was able to handle social situations better. I was able to see things more clearly, and I was able to prevent problems with people more. But yeah, that's all part of the age of Aquarius too. I don't know if you know about that, but it's a new age right now in society, on the planet, and people are starting to question things more. Even people who aren't that into politics, like they're like, yeah, I know that's bullshit. I know that's
right.
Like I don't trust the government. I know that's all like corporate propaganda. They just want my money.
You're starting to see people that they sense something's more off with the earth in general, right? Like you said, they're not even like political or anything like that. These are people that are always just like keen on being in touch with like how the earth, the energies of the earth and that sort of thing. And, you know, some people might say, well, that's a bunch of bullshit. But it's like, nah, it ain't a bunch of bullshit. Everything's got energy, including the earth. So and they're talking about just like the wild shit that's going on around the planet. You know, we've got this giant glacier that's ready to slide off of Antarctica into the water that's the size of Florida. You know, that kind of thing. That, you know, that is something that can legitimately be a game changer relatively quickly if that were to happen, you know. And they're looking at various things that are saying that this thing might actually happen within the next like 5 years, maybe sooner. So, you know, so there's all that anxiety and stuff that's going on too, you know. So I think that's a lot more people are trying to relieve the anxiety, trying to even just stay away from pot, as far as like trying to relieve anxieties. I think a lot of them are trying to do that, you know. And I'd love to be able to do that
too now, right? Like a lot of pot they're adding stuff to it that's just wasn't there originally.
Yeah, I don't like that either, man. I'm just like, just give me the regular stuff. I just want something that just melts the anxiety away, something that makes the little aches and pains go away too, you know, that sort of thing. That's what I want, man. I don't want to be sitting here just like, boo, you know, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I want to be like, you know, all, you know, you know that feeling
like what they
where you're
showed
like,
in the old like don't smoke commercials, or what was it like? You know what I'm talking about, right? It's like, you're not the same anymore ever since you started smoking. It's just, they're just like deflated.
Right, yeah. Ever since you started smoking, you haven't been the same, man. Shut up.
Their dog like starts talking to them. Like, it's like, you're not the same anymore, Karen. Like, oh shit. Like, what are they on? Like, they're seeing their dog talk to them. Like, they must be.
I gotta find that now. Oh damn, we should. Oh shit. All right, next time we'll have to come up with like, we'll have to find those videos like that, because I want to see the talking dog talking shit about the smoking dude. Just like,
yeah.
Dude, woof woof.
It's like the dog wanted to have such a serious conversation with her. No joke though. I don't know if you saw on TikTok. You know how there's some dogs that have learned how to use like these little buttons that say like one word, they're like treat now, or like cats do it too, where it's like
yeah, I've seen the cat
what-
ones.
yeah. Some dogs started questioning things more. Like they were questioning death. They were questioning their existence. And
Shit.
so it's like, is it language that allowed them to understand some things more? And then like the dog was like sad, like when the owner just said like, yeah, one day you'll die, and the dog's like, when?
Damn.
Yeah, it's just like, imagine a dog normally doesn't think about that. So if the dog's thinking about that now, it's like you're gonna get depressed.
It's like having an existential conversation with your dog is like, normally those things are one-sided, you know. You don't expect the dog to ask back, you know, what is death? Jesus. Jesus, Data from Next Generation, asking those deep-ass questions that Picard can't answer in 60 minutes.
I think it was because like their older pet had died, and the dog asked with like the little buttons like, what happened? And then they're like, they're not here anymore. Like,
all I know is I think we're all connected energy-wise. We just haven't connected the communication links in those energy connections. But once we do, that's where like the reading of the minds and stuff like that, and everybody will know what everybody's up to. You're not gonna be able to lie to people. You're not gonna be able to fool them or nothing, and that's when.
But also, people, I think at that point, people won't feel the need to like they have to lie. So
right.
If you're that spiritually aware, you don't feel the need to lie to someone. You're honest with them. You're also so aware that you understand how to tell somebody the truth. Like tailor-made to how the person is.
Yeah.
You know how to tell them.
Your actions would totally have to change too, because you couldn't do the same shit, because people would know what you're doing. If everybody could read everybody's thoughts like that, there was nothing hidden or anything like that, society would just be like, I don't know, it would definitely change overnight. I don't know what it would turn into though. Would it be a lot more honest? It'd have to be, because nobody could lie to anybody. You know, so how does capitalism work, where you have like a lot of deception and stuff like that in order to get more money?
It relies on deception, right? Capitalism.
It does. So if we're able to get rid of deception, do we get rid of capitalism at the same time? Food for thought, my friend. But I promised I would only keep you an hour, and here we are. It is, we are at the Ocho.
Oh man, that flew by.
I know, right?
Some deep topics. I think it's good you took that brownie. That was good.
Okay, so the last time you came on, I had like some beer and some beverage kind of stuff, and it was all right. It was fine. We had a great time. But tonight, tonight was brownie night, existential. Go deep into the fabric and see what's, what lies beneath, that kind of thing. I look forward to more of these conversations in the future, good sir.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. We should definitely have that. And I'll bring you on the show and we can talk more about that.
I was going to say, on camera or not, I don't give a fuck. As long as I keep getting those brownies, man. Yeah, as long as I keep getting those brownies, man. Those brownies are the key, man. They unlock, and then all this stuff comes out. So, all right. So, are you back on the scene? You're just kind of taking baby steps coming back. What's going on?
It's baby steps right now.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm focusing on stuff that's happening externally. I think that doing that will improve things that I say, like on camera also. But like I am, I'm trying to be like the best person I can be. Like I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to reconnect with some people from my personal life. So and that has influenced the way I see things too. Like taking a step back, letting go of things, and I'm just trying to do better so I can help other people do better also. And you know, it's all love to all the people that have supported me and have supported, you know, all you guys, all that supported Warren. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope that all of us can do great things and can influence each other so that we can all be good people.
Yeah. That's what I hope too, man. That's what I'm here for too, and that's one of the reasons why I love and appreciate what you do, because you're
Thanks,
very
man.
sincere, you're humble, and you're about helping people, and you ain't about all this drama bullshit, and I totally appreciate you that, and I, you know, whatever your endeavors entail this year, you know, I got your back. So any way I can help you, please, you know, feel free to reach out and let me know. You know, because like I do appreciate what you do as well. So,
Thanks, Warren.
and yeah, we're all just, they got me all welled up and shit. Fuck, man, I didn't want to cry, fuckers. Anyway, no, but everybody in the chat that showed up tonight and that support Franco's channel and my channel too, and be sure to check out Franco's channel. Check him out on Twitter too. His handle's right below his name there. You know, because it gets frustrating. I understand. I don't understand to the extent that you've been through. You've walked the walk, brother. You have been out and about, getting at these people and just trying to get the word out. And I know it can be pretty frustrating at times, depending on the people that you're dealing with too. I understand that a whole bunch. But like I said, I got nothing but love for you, and I appreciate everything that you're doing. I appreciate everybody watching the show tonight. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, man. I look forward to seeing you again really soon with, you know, like some sort of like song and dance troupe. You know, maybe get some like a nice flowery headdress. You know, I kind of, I don't know. I'm into the fashion kind of things sometimes, but I just don't want to pay for it. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm a little stoned. We gotta get the fuck out of here. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate you, brother. Love you.
Love you, man.
Love everybody. Yeah, love all y'all. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe here. Oh, did I do the thing? I didn't do the thing. I got to do this. I'm required by law. Otherwise, I got to go to jail. So, please like, share, and subscribe so we can keep beating this old man to death. This old bastard. May he rot in hell. Anyway. All right, we're out of here. Peace out, y'all. Wash your ass. Stay good. Happy New Year.
Yeah!